So my name is Denise Nassif, and I am a past distinguished governor of the Central Ontario District. I am a lifelong optimist in that my parents, or my dad, joined my local Optimist Club when I was 7 years old. So I grew up in the organization. And I'm going to let my two teammates, so there was three of us who put together this program, this WOW program. One is Diana Drummie and the other is Mike Bowles. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves if they just want to take themselves off mute real quick and introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
So I'm Diana Drummie. I am past distinguished governor during our 100 years anniversary. I have been a optimist for about 25 years. I'm currently a president in one of my two clubs that I'm involved with. And I'm excited to share with what we've been working on. And as I said at our other presentation, I truly believe we are on the precipice of a very important time, not just as Russ was saying, the opening up of our world, our country, but how to engage new people, how to engage our current members. People are antsy and they are hungry to get out there, volunteer, and be together.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Bowles. People call me Mikey B. I call me Mikey B, so feel free to do so as well. I believe that together we can make the world a better place. My personal goal is to make the world a better place by building better leaders and building better optimists. So with that, I won't go into too much detail with anything else. So I know you guys can get right to the presentation, and I hope you guys are as excited about it as Russ is.
We are ready to introduce to you the WOW program. The WOW program, Welcome Optimists Worldwide, is not just about recruiting new members. It is about revitalizing, renewing, and re-engaging your existing members. And this is why we're so excited about this WOW program, because it's something that every club can do. It does not matter how big you are, how much money you have, how much time you have. Every single club can implement this and have so much fun doing it. So I'm going to start and give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be doing over the next 45 minutes. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some research I did in the volunteering space, because I think it's really important for you to understand what's happening in that space. And then I'm going to pass it over to Diana, who's going to talk to you about the WOW program itself. And then she's going to pass it back to me, and we're going to talk about some examples and ideas and resources and all of the fun stuff that you guys need to know to be able to share this with your clubs. Please ask questions at any point along the way. Do not wait till the end. Stop and interrupt. I may not be monitoring the chat, so I don't know, Russ, if you want to keep an eye on the chat just in case, or Diana. That way, if there's questions that come in there, that'd be fantastic. Perfect. All right. Here are some trends. So a couple of years ago, I was working for a not-for-profit company up here in Canada who was looking to get volunteers. And we had gotten some funding to be able to do a research project on the trends and things that were happening in the volunteer space. So here's a few things that I think are really important and really led to some of the things that we're going to talk about in WOW. First thing is that people want group activities that allow them to interact with people they might not otherwise meet. So I guarantee you that I would never have met Russ Thomas or Diana Drummie if I were not an optimist. There's just no way. I live in Canada and they don't. So that's what people are looking for. They want that opportunity to be able to meet people they wouldn't otherwise meet. The other thing, professionals often want to do something different from their work life. So what happens, we've all done it. We get that accountant in our club and we say, oh, they're the perfect treasurer. Maybe they don't want to deal with numbers when they're volunteering. So often professionals want to do something different than what they do every day. People want the flexibility to volunteer when and how they want. So in other words, they may not want to attend, a meeting every week. Maybe they want to be there for your youth appreciation, but they can't make it to your internet safety. They want to be able to volunteer. They want that flexibility. So the fourth one is one that kind of hits us a little bit harder, that they don't always want to make a long-term commitment. So we need to make our optimist clubs as attractive as possible so they want to commit. We need to provide them with fun, with fellowship, with the opportunity to give back to their community so that they feel like making that commitment is worth it. Which leads into the last one. Every person who comes to volunteer has a goal they want to achieve. So their goal might be, I want to get out, meet new people. I want to take on a leadership role. I want to share my leadership. We need to allow those members to articulate those goals so we can help them achieve them. And so those are just 5 of the kind of top trends that are happening in the volunteer space that I want you to keep in mind when we are introducing the WOW program to you. So here's another interesting fact I discovered, is there's really 3 types of volunteering. There's skills-based, where they want to share their time based on their skills and talents, which I guess you're going to say is a little contrary to me saying that professionals want to do something different from what they do in their professional life. In some instances, they do want to share that time and talent. So they might come to you because it's skills-based. People might go to Habitat for Humanity because they love to build, because they have that carpenter skill and talent they want to share. The other one that is emerging a lot more, I've noticed over the past few years, is employer supported. Employers are not only encouraging, but in some cases requiring their employees to volunteer and are giving them the time off to do it. So I worked for a tech company, BlackBerry. Okay, don't say anything about where they are now, but when I worked for them, they were in their heyday. They paid for me to go to 3 Optimist International conventions, paid my flight, my hotel, all my expenses, because they believed that my volunteering with Optimist International was not only professional development, but was making me a better roundabout citizen. So often employers are saying, go and volunteer. And many of them say, I don't care where you volunteer. And if you need time off, we can make that work for you. And the final one is family. Children often, and I'm not going to say all the time, because I have a sister who is not an optimist, choose an organization that their parents volunteer with because they choose something that's familiar. Or they choose an organization that they can volunteer with their family. I have 2 teenage boys. They have both gone through, and one is still in the Joy program, because we can volunteer together. I can go to an Optimist International convention and know that they're at their Joy convention, and we're doing this as a family. So keep in mind, and one of the things that we're going to talk about as we go through this WOW program, I want you to think about, what does it mean when I say a family wants to volunteer with you? What, and this is rhetorical right now, but think about that young family with 2 toddlers. How often do you think they're going to get to a dinner meeting? Are they going to pay a babysitter to come and sit at a dinner meeting? Probably not. I know I wouldn't. So I want you to think about these types of volunteers as well as Diana introduces you to our new WOW program. We love the name, and it can work, like I said, in any club with any budget. Diana, it's all yours.
I'm super excited about our program. And as we're saying, things are opening up. People are antsy to get out there, to be with friends, be with family. The kids need us. On the news this morning, it was talking so much about how the kids need to have their interaction with their friends, to be able to go to school. Again, we're on the cusp, I think, of an amazing time, and how as we as optimists really need to tap into that to help our communities and bring them into the optimist fold. So when we were younger, we went to school, we had the 3 R's, reading, arithmetic, and I just went by reading, arithmetic, and writing. What we're looking at are the 4 R's, and we kind of divided it up like on our 4 quarters. In the beginning of our first quarter, we're recruiting new members. We want to get our club being built up. How do we bring people in? And as we segue into the second quarter, it's how do we continue to, with our current club and members, keep them revitalized, keep them involved. Now we're kind of moving slowly towards the end of the year. Continue to renew those members, those that have come in new, but maybe we didn't step up enough to get them involved, or those that have been around for a while and they kind of faded to the back. we got to grab them back. We got to bring them back in. And then like any of us, we always want to retain. And when we're in that fourth quarter, we're at the end of our year, we want to keep those current members we've brought in and the current ones we've had. So again, it's about revitalizing and keeping these new and involved members. We are worldwide, and here's a reason that's so important. As Denise says, she's in Canada. I'm in San Diego. Russ is in Atlanta. What an amazing time we have to really connect with people all over the place with our Zooms and our Googles, not just our phones or emails, but to actually see people, how we can share so much of our optimism worldwide. All right, next, kiddo. So when you start to decide you're going to have a social event, you got to have someone assigned to it, obviously. And instead of doing the now meetings, which you would do usually once a year, we want any event you come together, small or large, make it a wow event, whatever that looks like. Perhaps you're going to pick a specific day of the month or the week. And I'm going to give you some examples of what I'm doing in two of my clubs. My club, one of my club that I'm in Coronado, every Thursday, we've been supporting the restaurants in our community because they've been supporting us for the last 40 years for our club. So we do a grab and go because we haven't been able to eat there. So once a month, we put it out, we take pictures in our yellow shirts, and we've been getting in the local paper. So we've picked one day a week to get out there. And when we're out there, we're talking to people. People are saying, who are you? Wearing our yellow shirts. And that's how we're making our event once a week a wow meeting. You got to assign someone to run it, obviously. Our president was so excited about it. He took it on this situation. We have utilized our social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, the web pages, and the Twitter. Whether people are using them or not, we've got to keep pushing the information out. I know for me personally, I'm not a Twitter person or Instagram, but I look at web pages all the time, and I do scroll through Facebook. And even if you just see one little quick thing, it might interest you. And Denise is going to show you some really quick and easy ways to utilize Facebook. With some of these events, for example, if you decide to do a scavenger hunt or bingo night, you can do it online. And as I was saying, we're worldwide. So I have a brother in Denver, a sister in LA, and a sister in Chicago. I can now invite them to come to my WOW event. They're not optimists either, but this is an opportunity for them to see more about what I'm doing, see about my clubs, see about Optimist. So we can have these events as our Optimist International has been doing. We're all visiting and seeing each other much more often. But what is so imperative is we still got to share with our current members and prospective members. We got to tell about what your club's about, what you've been doing, what you do within the community, how we're helping the kids. A statistic that I never forget, for every new member, we are helping 35 kids. That's a quick and easy number to remember. One new member, 35 kids. And at the end of that event, whether you're in person or you're online, because you can email, you got to give out those applications. Let's say you give out 20 of them. If you get one back, that's a plus. But if they don't have anything tangent, touchable in front of them, I think that's how we can lose people. And of course, like anything else, I'm not in sales or marketing, but I know I've been marketed, and that follow-up, that's what's so important. And as a customer, I appreciate that follow-up. And that for me as an optimist, when I follow up with that prospective new member, I hope that they appreciate it because it tells them I care about you coming into our new club, into our club as a new member. Okay. So here's some examples, and I just took this off the webpage. The Joy Kids down here in San Diego County area for CalSO, they do a paint night. I'm putting together a scavenger hunt night, such as we've done with OI. There's bingo, and there's Name That Tune. Denise is going to tell you about Urko, Unko. Anyways, a game that they play, Urko, Unko. I don't know what it is, which is very popular, and she gets lots of people coming in. At Christmas time in my club in Coronado, we had a video where we had the 12 days of Christmas. But prior to that, and I had my members perform, we had cocktails, and we had one of our members who's a bartender from way back in his younger days. He made a couple holiday cocktails. Or why not put together a pack together of something to bake, and everyone cooks at the same time. One of my local clubs, they're having a tea, and they've sent out an invitation to everybody, and you can put together your tea and your scones or your biscuits, and then they're gonna get online and visit with each other. So again, having interactive speakers, there's still huge issues with their internet safety, or helping support our Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, having them come talk or having a speaker. All right, next. So with the trivia night, here's some of the examples of things you can do. The in-person, again, it's opening up. We must be very cognizant of whatever your rules are regarding COVID in your area. But as we're out there, and I know we're saying some of the same things we've said before, but it's imperative that we have some kind of banner perhaps out there. In the next picture you see, have pictures of what your club is doing. But when you get together, there's so many things to do. So I just went online. Again, there's so much information. So you've got the car show down in Jackson County. Coronado, that's our grab and go, grab and dine in the middle. And then over the holidays, Ancaster, during the cold, during the winter time, they still were able to have a food drive. So you got to have signs out. You got to we wear yellow shirts, but have your applications there with you. Again, people are coming out. They want to meet us. They want to know who we are. And this is where you put together the things that you're doing. Talk about our convention. One of the clubs does highway cleanup. We do things working with the children. The one up there in the middle is for childhood cancer. People want to know, well, if you're an Optimist Club, what are you doing for the youth? And again, it's us showing who we are, what we're doing, and being enthusiastic about it. And I'm saying it again, I just think we're going to have members rolling in because they're so excited about getting out there and helping and being part of the community. Next. I think that's it. So
that's the end of the presentation part.
Right. So with my clubs, my club, my Coronado Club, we're pretty big for the site. We're about 100 people in my community, but we send out a weekly newsletter to make sure, that not only our members know what's going on, but we have several contacts within the community. The mayor's in our club, the city manager is a FOO. And so one of the things is they reach out to us and the Rotary, because they're a decent sized club too, to do things in the community. And one of them is we have a vaccine clinic. I'm 61. I'm not supposed to be getting my shots, but I was lucky enough to get my shots because we've been able to volunteer and help at the clinic. And if you're at the clinic, you got shots. I volunteer once a week now because I want to pay back because I'm so grateful. But I also appreciate that they reached out to us because they knew we have members. They knew that we were willing to come out and help. And it has been an amazing time to give back. We've all been home and it's like, what can I do? What can I do? And this was a great opportunity because they saw us, they know what we've been involved with the community. And so they're going to reach out to us. We're exploding. We are worldwide.
Thank you, Diana. So now I'm going to talk to you about some practical stuff. Diana has kind of walked you through what the program looks like. And to be perfectly honest, it's not that different from a now, except it's a lot less formal. So there's a couple things I want you to keep in mind. We have put together these step-by-step instructions, and actually there's a couple of tweaks I'm going to do to them based on a meeting I had in California last week. But we are putting the information out there for you, but I don't want to stifle your club's creativity. So what I mean by that is, you know, your own community. You know what's going to work in your community in terms of social events. It's really important. I want to stress that these WOW events are meant to be social or communities or community service. Well, really, community service is social anyway. We are social beings. We want to be out there. We want to be doing stuff. Sean, how do you feel about being in meetings?
They are boring. They are absolutely boring. As a past Joy member and a new adult member, Optimist Club's meetings, the standard old-fashioned meetings, are not what the new generation wants. So we really want to focus on bringing out what we can do immediately right now, which is doing the service projects immediately, not sitting in meetings and learning about what you do, but show us what you do by allowing us to help you. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sean. I wanted you to hear it from himself. Sean is also a member of the membership committee, and he has brought a totally new perspective in making us rethink how we do our traditional meetings and how we think of recruiting. And I'm not trying to tell you that as a club that you need to stop having these meetings. Absolutely not. They serve a purpose, and there are members who love them. But there are also members who do not love them. So this is where you can create the flexibility within your club to have a little bit of both. You can have those formal dinner meetings once a month or once every 2 weeks, however often you want to have them, but integrate the WOW social stuff into it. So some of the suggestions are, maybe you say the third Friday of every month. And here's where I'm going to say the word Diana has a hard time saying, euchre. How many of you know what euchre is? It's a card game. We love playing euchre. My club.
Diane, I'm like you. I had no clue what it means either.
Euchre
It's got to be a States thing, because I have no clue.
Maybe euchre is a Canadian thing. I don't know. But the third Friday of every month, when we were allowed, we had a euchre night. And this was a social night for our clubs, for our members and non-members to get together and play and have some fun. So we were getting some great attendance, and I decided I'm going to boost this on Facebook. We had the event on Facebook, and I spent $5, people, $5, and boosted the event. The next one, we had 12 extra people. To me, the $5 was totally worth it, because I had 12 new people who learned about optimism. So I'm going to show you a little bit, and I want to talk to you. I said for you to think about, what did it mean to be a family when a family wants to come and join your club? So as I said, I have 2 teenagers, but when they were toddlers, my husband and I were both members of our clubs, and there was no way we were going to pay a babysitter so we could both go to a meeting. And a lot of our members were in that same boat. Our club happens to have a fairly young membership. And so you know what our club did is, at first, we asked high school students who needed volunteer hours to come and volunteer and watch the kids. Keep the kids busy, maybe in the same room or another room beside us while we had our meeting or did what we needed to do. Then when we formed our Joy Club, that was the Joy Club's job. It was their job to keep our younger kids occupied. It meant that as a parent, I felt comfortable knowing that my child was right there if anything went wrong, but I could attend the meeting and not worry about having to pay someone to babysit. So think about how your club can be flexible for these young families, because I hear it all the time, young families don't volunteer. Oh, they do. But they volunteer where they can bring their children, or involved in things their children are involved in. I am a Special Olympics coach because my son is in Special Olympics. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. So Diana alluded to the Facebook, doing some Facebook promoting. This is really important. Whether you're doing the event online or in person, you need to use social media to promote it, to get more people out. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen and show you an event that I have being promoted right now. I actually just boosted it today, and show you how easy it is to set it up and to get it going. So let me just share my screen. So I have a club here in Burlington called the Awesome Optimist Club. It's an adults with exceptionalities or a special needs club. And right now we are running an event that is an internet safety event. So we're doing an online internet safety and social media workshop on Sunday, and we have opened it up to anyone. And you can see I have the event. It comes right off my Facebook page. And when I go into it, it has all the information. So I can see I have reached 1,800 people so far. I've got 49 responses. I'm not selling tickets, so there's no tickets to track. And you can see 49 people, like I said, have responded. The really cool part about it, and I can go into discussion and see, they can see information that's happening in it. So when I interact as myself, I can then turn around and invite all of my Facebook friends, they've all been invited, but all of my Facebook friends to attend my event. So you can put an event on Facebook, and I'll show you in a second how easy it is to set up, and you can get immediate responses and have your members invite all their friends. So let me just go back and I'll show you how to set it up. I'm going to show you really quick because I want to leave some time for you guys to ask questions. So if I go back to my events, and you'll see over here, just a second, I got to move you guys. It says create new event. So you click on create new event. You say, is it online? It asks, is it online or is it in person? Well, I'm going to create an online event. Is it free or is there a price? Right? So mine are free. I'm going to say it's free. Then we give it a name. And then you set your date and time. So I might say, I'm going to do it this Saturday. And then you can set your location. If it's, I'm going to say, there, I'm going to see it, what comes up. Our areas are places near my neighborhood where I might be having it, or I might just say it's Zoom and leave it at that. And then I can put a bit of a description, and then I put what is the category, and I'm going to say it's a comedy. Sure, why not? And then I hit next, and you can see it walks you through it. Is it a Facebook Live? Is there an external link or is it another? Because it's Zoom, I'm going to say other. Then I can change the picture, and I'm not going to create the event because I'm going to have to delete it. But you can see here other event settings that you can put co-hosts in and all of that. Then once you have it set up, then I'm creating the event. I'll just delete it after. You can then go in and add people, and you can boost it. So boost it online. So if I wanted to boost the event, so here is some of the information on boosting if none of you have boosted before. If I spend $45 Canadian, my ad will run for 3 days. I'll reach roughly 7,000 to 21,000 people, but you can see I have targeted living in Canada, living in Burlington, age 18 to 65 plus. I could target that even more if I wanted to. And see, I can even go and I can change the age. I can add more. I can say I'm going to also do Oakville. Southwest Oakville. There we go. So now I've expanded my targeting. So you can see I can change the duration. I can change my budget. I'm not going to boost it because I just boosted a different event today. But you see how easy it is to be able to create an event and then have this immediate, people can share your event. You can share it to your Facebook page. You can share it to your district Facebook page. You can share it wherever you want to share it. But this is a huge way to get people to know what you're doing. Bring that double feedback. But Facebook is probably the one we use the most, but there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's all kinds, there's TikTok. Kids are all using TikTok. But if you haven't embraced social media yet, I encourage you to embrace social media. And the reason for that is, and Gary's on the line, Gary Hill is the membership chair from Central Ontario. His wife, Vicky Mains Hill, is phenomenal. She has, over the past few years, recruited 50 plus members. And she will tell you the majority of those are from Facebook. Are people she never knew, contacted her through Facebook, and she recruited them. So you need to embrace it. A couple other things I just want you to keep in mind. You need to create a budget for your WOW events. It needs to be a line item in your club budget. I don't care how much that budget is, but for us, for our euchre nights, we go and buy some snacks and some refreshments, and we got to buy new sets of cards at least once a year and that sort of thing. So we have a budget for it. And Mike, do you want to tell about when clubs are ready to fold and they have like $30,000? I always like when you tell that one.
Yeah, so thank you. We've had clubs that are 50, 60 years old, you know, these legendary clubs, and say, well, we can't get anybody to join anybody, you know, we can't get, you know, we're gonna fold up shop. We're tired of all, you know, running through the offices and that. And you say, okay, well, you know, I'm sorry to hear that. You say, yeah, we got like $50,000 we have to, you know, disperse because you can't take it. And I'm thinking, you have $50,000 and you can't get people? Throw a party, throw a WOW event. You could spend $10,000 on a WOW event, still have 40 grand in the bank, and you can really make an impact in your community. So now, is everybody gonna be able to spend 10,000? Probably not. My club's yearly budget is 10,000, so we're probably going to spend quite a bit less. But you know, these events are something that you can really impact your community and show off who you are and what you do, and make a monetary commitment to that.
Thank you, Mike. So I want to stress that, as Diana mentioned, every event is a NOW event, and you need to have information at these events about your club. One thing that a lot of clubs are starting to do is have PowerPoint presentations running on a laptop with pictures and information about their club. So because then people can come and look at it, and it has information about your club and all the great things that you do. You want to make sure, and so what was interesting, which came out of California, and I know that I've talked to a couple other people about it, is when we talk about membership applications, how do we do that online? If we're having an online meeting, how do we can't give them an application. Well, you can if you use Microsoft Forms or Google Docs. So part of the work instructions, in the work instructions I've created, there's detailed in how to create a Facebook event. And the tweak I want to do is I'm going to add in there how you create a Microsoft form or a Google Doc to use as a membership application. Okay. So, because if you're not there virtually, if you're not there in person, you can't hand them the application, and they're going to want it right away. So you want to be able to give them a link, send them a link. Here's the link, fill out your membership application. As Diana said, really, really important you follow up. Invite them out again. If they don't sign up the first time, invite them to come play euchre again. Invite them to come to the next time you're packing backpacks for kids who are going back to school. Invite them to your next grab and go. Keep inviting them, because eventually you'll get them. You'll wear them down. Are any of you guys fans of Big Bang Theory? Where Leonard wore down Penny and she eventually married him? Same concept. You're eventually going to wear these people down. Either that or they're going to see how much fun you're having and they're going to want to join you. There's another thing that Nick Perlman always says is, regardless of generations, there's one thing that brings everybody together, and that's community service. So one of the Net WOW events, make it a community service event. Maybe you're out cleaning up a park and everybody has a coffee afterwards together. Maybe I had an event on Sunday with my AW club. We made cards for all our friends in the group homes because they're locked down pretty tight right now. So we're sending them a little bit of sunshine. Create community service as a WOW event. So you guys can see, and I'm going to open up to you guys to ask Diana, Mikey, and I, or any of the membership committee, because there's a few others of them on here, questions. WOW events are meant not just for new members, but to re-engage existing members. I don't know how many members we have had say, what, we're doing this now as a club? I'm in. We haven't seen them in months, but all of a sudden they know we're playing euchre the third Friday of every month. They're in. My husband hates meetings. He won't go to a meeting. I couldn't pay him to go to a meeting, but he'll come play euchre because he likes to play cards. Be better if it was poker, but he'll compromise on euchre. So you want to make sure that these events are not just creating that wow for your community and your new members, but your existing members. What's that old sales adage? It's easier to keep an existing customer than to recruit a new one. It's exactly the same in membership. It is easier to keep an existing member than to recruit a new one. So don't let them go. We need to keep them. We need to reduce this losing members because they're not interested anymore. If they're not interested, you as a club need to keep them interested. So I'm going to open it up to any questions that you might have. Put in the chat that Mike, myself, and her are available to come to club meetings, district meetings. It's great on Zoom. I can go anywhere. Even if I can't get out my driveway, I can still go anywhere. So I will open it up to questions, if there are any.
Okay, I have a question for you. What happens like in Saskatchewan right now? We can't meet, we can't do events, we can't do nothing. We literally work and home. That is it. They said we can't do anything.
Oh, you can do lots on Zoom.
Well,
So
what happens when your members don't want to do Zoom? Like, okay, we haven't been meeting since November when they shut us down to less than 5 people. And 2 weeks ago was the first time we've had a Zoom meeting since then.
okay, so if they don't want Zoom, find what they do. You need to talk to your members and find out what they do want. There are other platforms besides Zoom out there. There's Google Meet. You can do a messenger, a Facebook Messenger group. You can do, I've heard other clubs who are doing conference calls. You need to have something for them to want to come to, right? So someone mentioned paint nights. The Joy International did another paint night on Saturday, a paint afternoon, I guess it was, on Saturday. Even if, because we're the same in Ontario, we can't do anything, but we've been playing bingo. We did Name That Tune last week. It was an 80s Name That Tune. We've done scavenger hunts. We've gotten creative and done it online. If you want help, please just let us know. And if your members are struggling, I just did an introductory Zoom with a club whose members were the same. I don't want to use Zoom. So it may be because they're afraid to use it. So
one of the things I would say to that, you ever have going somewhere, you don't know where you're going, so you're using the GPS, right? And it's saying turn here, in 300 feet, turn left here. Well, what would have happened if you got halfway there and the GPS turned off? Would you just go, well, I'm going home? Or would you go, well, I guess I got to find a different way to get there? You see what I'm getting?
Oh, I do.
So sometimes
I totally
we have to think outside the box. And if that doesn't work, then we keep going. It's one of those things that it's as an optimist, if you want to see the solution, then you'll continually look for it. If you don't want to see the solution, then you'll continually look for ways for not getting there.
Mindset change, and you got to have something to draw people into that Zoom meeting. So one of Denise's and the point was that, you need to make these meetings exciting. You need to bring somebody in. You need to do something that's a little different. So in order to get them engaged in a meeting like this, you got to be able to have something to hook them, so to speak. And that could be a really special speaker. I mean, it could be something to have somebody come in and talk about pets. I mean, there's so many things that people are interested in, and it may be the draw for that. So every event is a wow event, right? So we think about now, we've been thinking about now for so long. When people hear now, they just shudder. Oh my gosh, not another now event. Well, President Mark wants every club to have a now or wow event before the end of the year. And not that normal old, put up the black and white stuff. I mean, something that draws them in, that gets them excited. And we got to go that direction. And it's really up to the people on this phone call to be able to bring that wow, that energy that engagement. And we're the ones that we can help each other. So think about that as we move forward.
That's a great point, Russ. One of the things I just from a membership standpoint, if you have somebody who's new to your club, and I say new, I say within the last year, 18 months ish. All right. Don't hold me directly to the
I
day
have
or anything.
several ones I've brought in the last while.
So if you have that, guess what? Those folks, they're probably looking for a committee. They didn't join just to get out of the rain, so to speak. A WOW committee, that might be a good spot for them to land and start getting their feet wet, because they're going to have fresh new ideas. They don't know how anything works yet. So, that's a way you can kind of start. We can kind of put the training wheels on and say, hey, what's your idea for an event? And then my favorite things to do as a club president, lieutenant governor, my favorite words to always say is yes. You would be surprised how energetic people will get when you learn to say the word yes. People love hearing that word.
Maybe we can do this together with our clubs. I really want my club to see this. I think this would be a great presentation for Diana, Denise, Russ, Mikey B. And
Oh yeah.
we don't have a very big club, but if we could get a few of our clubs, Dee and I are in the same district, AMSNW, we could get a few of our clubs and you guys would do this presentation. I would love that. Do you think, Dee, they would come to see a presentation from an international group of?
I think so.
Bring everybody that wants to come. And I think that Mikey and you guys, I would love to set up let's talk to Marilyn, our governor, and
Yeah.
this.
And here's the thing. Here's one of the things with that. What you're saying, Edie, is about bringing in the clubs. So that's what I've been doing. We've got a couple small clubs. They haven't been able to work, be able to meet or anything. And some are Zooming, some aren't. But I invite them to everything. And I think that's the other part. Again, we're not just one club, one district. We're worldwide. We're national. We're international. People can go to things. And so, for example, Dee, one of the things is, if you start going to some events and talking them up, people are going to start, well, I want to go. I want to be involved. And that's how we have gotten our grab and goes. People are like, well, how come I wasn't on the text? How come I wasn't on the email? Because we started with a small core. We just thought, okay, let's see how it goes. I mean, I think it does take some time. We've gone through the same thing. People don't want to be on Zoom. They're not comfortable. They've been on it all day. But we have got to sustain who we are. And if we're not communicating, and so again, I'm having a scavenger hunt in 2 weeks. We're having a cocktail out. We're having cocktails for about the first 5-10 minutes, a quick social, talk about the club. And then we're doing it for an hour, making it short, sweet, quick and easy, and getting people involved. And Edie, I know that both Mikey and I and Denise and Dee, more than happy to come and make the presentation to your crew.
Excellent.
I would like to say something. Our club is of 37 people, Chesterfield, Indiana. We do have a president, a vice president, a second vice president, treasurer, secretary, and we probably have maybe 10 active members that come in. 5 of them are brand new, under 30, some of them under 20. They have control of the club. And they don't want to go to a club meeting. They want to come to a gathering. That's what we do. We come to a gathering. And they want to do a gathering. And we play games. We play a card game. We play maybe the werewolf game off the cell phone. Our meetings are being put on live, on Facebook Live, for any member who cannot come to watch. And we even promote it on Facebook. It's a great way to go. And you can do things with your club without your presidents being there. You can move to the next guy up and get involved as much as you possibly can with some form of media with your people and keep your people involved. If you don't, you will lose your club. It'll happen. So, and this is really bad times. You have to do it. You have to do it. Thank
I
you.
love that. I Gwen, were you trying to, did you want to say something? I think I saw your hand up at one point. Gwen Little.
Oh, what I was saying is I put in the minutes, we had a super zone meeting last Saturday. And this was one of our discussions about getting the older members in. So it was suggested to have them dial in like a conference call to make them feel maybe they would do that and they'd be more comfortable. So we have a Zoom meeting tomorrow night, and I've been on the phone, and I'm going to try that with our older members. That's what I was raising my hand about.
I love that. I mean, you need to a certain extent, you need to go to your member and figure out what they're comfortable with. There are other platforms besides Zoom. There are other things you can be doing besides Zoom. It just seems that Zoom is the easiest, and because it's free, people are using it. There's a couple things I want to leave you with. WOW meetings are not meant to be one and done. So what I mean by that is WOW meetings are meant to be a regular occurrence. And if the first time it's not as successful as you would like it to be, try again. In fact, when you're having your first one, make sure you've already got your second one scheduled, because we learn more for what doesn't work. So when you hold your first one, make sure you have a little bit of a lessons learned. Again, the project manager and me is coming out. Have a little bit of a what worked, what didn't work, what can we improve for our next time. But it's really important that we keep in mind membership, recruiting, engaging our members is a year-long thing. We cannot say we ran a NOW program once and now we're done for the year. It's not how it works. So I want you to just keep that in mind. Membership recruiting is not one and done. Your WOW programs do not have to be big. They could cost you no money. They could cost you a lot of money. You need to figure out what works for your club. And that's what we like about this program, is the flexibility and that it can be made and tailored to what works for your club. The one last thing is, when we talked about the 5 to 10 minute presentation on the club, it's about your club, not about Optimist International. People do not join Optimist International. They join the Optimist Club of Coronado, the Optimist Club of Burlington, the Optimist Club of Essex. They do not join Optimist International. So that 5 to 10 minutes needs to be, what does my club do? And then when they're a member for a while, then you can introduce them to Optimist International. Because if you do it right away, you might lose them because they get confused. So keep that in mind. This is all about your club, not about Optimist International. How do I make my club stronger, my club healthier, and therefore serve more youth?
Super fantastic. I hope you're walking away with something. This information is going to be shared. I am recording it. I'll do a little editing in it and send it out to everybody that's on the invitation list. You know, and in closing, you know, I like it when you say every event is a WOW event, and you just say that word, it makes you feel good. So when you're thinking about, you know, planning a banquet or going to the bar or going to church or going somewhere and trying to entice new members in, you know, it's got to be exciting. It's got to be engaging. It's got to be, you know, the person that's doing it has to be enthusiastic, right? I mean, nobody wants to go to one of these events and it not be fun and then people not be engaging. So you got to remember that. So be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm, you know, breeds excitement. And if you're excited, people are going to want some of that, right? People are going to want some of what makes you feel good. I mean, I feel good every day. I mean, I say this all the time, but it's the truth. I wake up wondering, oh man, what's going to happen today? Maybe that's the optimism in it. I got to tell you though, Denise, when you said, you know, if you keep at them, it wears them down. I'm probably the only optimist that joined the Optimist organization because my neighbor beat up on me for 3, 6, 8, 9 months. And that's why I'm an optimist. It was just to shut her up. I got to tell you, I hate to say that. I wish I had a real exciting story about how I got to be an optimist, but that was it. So thank everybody. I'm thanking everybody for your time. We're so pleased that it's important enough that you spent some time with us tonight. We hope to do this again. We'll have this another meeting next month at the same time. In the process, we'll be getting the information out to you. And if you're doing something exciting and you got a program that's working, share that with us. Anybody on the membership team, You'll be able to find you got our names, and hopefully when they send the emails out, that's going to come with contact information. So be good, be optimistic. Membership is not a one and done. I love that when Denise says that. It's not over till it's over. Mark said we got 7 more months. We're right at the right time, coming out of the COVID lockdown. People excited. They want to help. They want to do something because they felt how it felt to be in that lockdown. Now they want to do something. They want to give back, and we need to give them that opportunity. So with that, I appreciate everybody's time. Denise, your team did a fantastic job. I appreciate that. If you got what is that little thing you're petting on right down there? What is that?
My husband is cleaning the guinea pig's cage, and he has just brought me the guinea pig.
I thought maybe that was dinner or something.
No, we have a geriatric guinea pig. She's 7 years old, and when she gets her cage clean, she needs some cuddles.
I've seen cats and dogs first time I've seen one of these.
Oh, you know.
Thank you for your time. Unless somebody's got a one last question, I said we'd be respectful of your time. It's 8:01, so we got started 2 minutes late. We're going to finish a minute earlier than we got started. I appreciate you guys. Call us. Be optimistic. It's never too late. And membership is a day in, day out thing. So, just bring a little wow, bring a little excitement. Thank you. And I will end the meeting for everybody unless I see a hand come up real quick.